Welcome to Moto Smartphones channel. Here is the list of the best newly released Motorola phones with 5G technology. 1. Motorola Moto G200 5G. After releasing the Moto G Power, Motorola released a new mid-range smartphone, the Motorola Moto G200 5G. The new smartphone boasts a 6.8-inch LCD with full HD plus resolution and a 144 Hz refresh rate. The display panel includes the DCI P3 color space and supports HDR10 plus video playback. The device is powered by a Qualcomm Snapdragon 888 Plus processor, 8GB RAM, and 128GB 256GB internal storage. On the software side, the handset runs the Android 11 version by default, which is almost out of stock. You can expect the device to get the Android 12 update around the beginning of next year. The Moto G200 5G shows a triple camera setup consisting of a 108-megapixel primary camera with an f1.9 aperture, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor. Despite having a super-fast processor, the Moto G200 5G's rear 108-megapixel camera is limited to 4K 30fps video recording. A 5,000 mAh battery powers the Moto G200 5G, the company says. You can use your phone for 2 days on a single charge. The device supports multiple connectivity features, including dual SIM card support, 4G, 5G, Wi-Fi 6E, GPS, and Bluetooth 5.1. Finally, the device is rated IP52 for splash resistance. The Moto G200 5G costs $449.99 in Europe. The device has 128GB and 256GB storage variants featuring 8GB RAM. The smartphone has Glacier Green and Stellar Blue color variants. 2. Moto G22. The Moto G22 is a pocket-friendly combination of reliable RAM and quad camera options that users can invest in. You can also rely on this feature with the Android V12 OS, which has an enormous battery at less cost. The Moto G22 6.5-inch IPS LCD has a resolution of 720 x 1600 pixels, a pixel density of 270 ppi, and an aspect ratio of 20.9. In addition to showing off a screen-to-body ratio of 89%, brand claims, it's a bezel-less display that supports multi-touch technology. The brand features a 50-megapixel f1.8 wide-angle primary camera, an 8-megapixel f2.2 ultra-wide camera, a 2-megapixel f2.4 macro camera, and a 2-megapixel f2.4 depth camera. The 16-megapixel f2.45 wide-angle primary camera can also be used on the front end for video calls and selfies. The super-fast performance of the Moto G22 is powered by the MediaTek Helio G37 chipset and 4GB of RAM. This performance is also supported by an octa-core, quad-core, Cortex-A53, 2.3 GHz, and quad-core, Cortex-A53, 1.8 GHz processor layout. Additionally, the PowerVR GE8320 GPU handles the device's graphics requirements. Facilitating smooth storage, users get 64 GB of internal space to expand up to 1 TB. The connectivity features supported by Moto G22 are 4G VoLTE, mobile hotspot, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth V5.0, NFC, USB Type-C, and AGPS with GLONASS. A 5,000 mAh battery, essentially non-removable, is available on the Moto G22. It is also a lithium polymer, Li-polymer battery that supports 15W fast charging. 3. Moto Edge. 30 Ultra Motorola was one of the first companies to launch the world's first flagship based on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 platform. Motorola dubbed the Edge 30. The phone launched in China earlier this month with features like a 144 Hz display, 68W fast charging support, a triple rear camera with a 50 megapixel primary sensor, and an impressive 60 megapixel selfie camera. The handset is debuted early next month with the Moto Edge 30 Ultra. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 SoC powers the Moto Edge 30 Ultra and boasts a 6.4-inch FHD Plus OLED display and a 5,000 mAh battery. 4. Moto G Stylus 2022. Motorola is currently developing a successor to the Moto G Stylus. The company formalized the Engine G Stylus 5G last year. The smartphone was launched in the United States but did not enter the other market. G Stylus 5G provides a stylus to help users draw and write notes. The Moto G Stylus 2022 is codenamed Milan and has model number XT2211DL. Smartphones are expected to support 5G. The Moto G Stylus also has an improved and dedicated stylus slot. Motorola may also introduce the Moto Note app to the Moto G Stylus. This app is only for taking quick notes and setting reminders. According to reports, you can access the Notes app without unlocking your phone. According to the rumors, the smartphone offers a triple camera setup with 3 large sensors on the back. It has slim bezels on the corners of the screen and a hole in the front for selfies. The volume rocker is on the device's right side, and the device's back panel is a fingerprint scanner. 5. Moto G71 5G Motorola continues to renew its popular G smartphone lineup for buyers and thankfully realized the need to offer 5G devices. The Moto G71 5G has a 6.8-inch Full HD Plus display with 1080x2460 pixel resolution. The screen produces a pixel density of 395 ppi and has a punch hole layout in the top center. The 20.9 aspect ratio design provides an 84% screen-to-body ratio. The volume rocker and power button are on the phone's right side. The phone features a fingerprint sensor mounted below the power button and a face unlock that works via a selfie camera for security. The Moto G71 5G uses the Snapdragon 732G octa-core chipset with 6 GB of RAM. It offers 128 GB of onboard storage, expandable up to 512 GB. The phone runs on a stock Android 11 version with limited bloatware. For imaging purposes, the new Moto G phone has a triple rear camera consisting of a 108 megapixel primary sensor, an 8 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, and a 2 megapixel sensor. The front of the phone has a 32 megapixel camera that lets you click selfies, take videos, and make video calls. The Moto G71 5G is backed by a 5000 mAh battery that supports fast charging via a USB Type-C port. The connectivity features available on the device are Wi-Fi, 5G, Bluetooth 5.1, 4G VoLTE, NFC, USB OTG, and GPS with GLONASS. 6. Moto G62 5G Motorola. Moto G62 is an excellent phone with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G processor, 8 GB of RAM, and 128 GB of storage. The Motorola Moto G62 is expected to have a screen size of 6.8 inches and a decent resolution of 1080x2460 pixels. This model has a rear camera of 108 MP, front camera with f1.9 and 32 MP. Other camera features include LED flash, HDR, and panoramas. A Qualcomm Snapdragon 732G processor powers Motorola Moto G62 and comes with an octa-core, TUX 2.3 GHz, Cryo 470 Gold, and 6x1.8 GHz, Cryo 470 Silver, CPU, and Adreno 618 GPU. This mobile runs on Android 12, and when connected, this model includes a call log, card slot, messaging, phone book, FM radio, games, speaker, edge, GPRS, face unlock, and fingerprint sensor. 7. Motorola Moto G82. Motorola has continued to refresh its popular Moto G series smartphones and now offers 5G support. The Moto G82 has a 6.55 Full HD Plus Super AMOLED display with 1080x2400 pixel resolution. The screen produces 402 excellent ppi, pixels per inch, and the screen aspect ratio is 20.9. For photography, the smartphone gets a 50 megapixel wide-angle lens, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens, and a 5 megapixel macro lens bundled with an LED flashlight on the back. On the front, the Moto G82 has a 16 megapixel wide-angle lens for selfies and video chats. The Qualcomm Snapdragon 695 chipset powers the new Motorola Moto G82 smartphone with an octa-core processor and 1.7 GHz hexa-core Cryo 6060. The smartphone includes an Adreno 619 GPU for graphics alignment. The Moto G82 runs on an updated version of the Android 12 operating system. For storage, the smartphone comes with 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of internal storage that can be expanded up to 512 GB using a dedicated slot. The Moto G82 is backed by a 5000 mAh battery that supports fast charging via the USB Type-C port. The smartphone has a fingerprint sensor on the back and supports facial recognition unlocking for enhanced security. 8. Motorola Moto E32. Following recent online certifications and appearances, Motorola is working on several mid-range and premium flagship phones, including the Motorola E32. The E-series phones are the 2026 budget segment phones in the world. This handset has appeared on certification websites such as FCC, EEC, Wi-Fi Alliance, and NBTC. The Motorola E32 is available in silver and blue color options and has a typical Motorola design with a punch-hole cutout and triple camera lens. The Motorola E32 has a center punch-hole cutout for selfie snappers and slim bezels. The volume rocker and power button are on the right spine, and the SIM tray tool is on the left. At the bottom are a speaker grill and a USB Type-C port. At the rear are a triple camera layout, LED flashes arranged in a rectangular module, and the iconic Moto dimples. There's no fingerprint sensor cutout, so I wonder whether to place it inside the display or on the right edge. Boxed design. It almost rounds off the plan. The Motorola E32 comes with a MediaTek Helio G85 SoC combined with 4GB or 6GB of RAM and 64GB or 128GB of internal storage. With the MyUX custom skin, we can assume it will boot Android 12 OS immediately and is limited to only 4G LTE connected networks. 9. Moto G52j Motorola has quietly unveiled its mid-range 5G smartphone, the Moto G52j. One of the main appeals of the G52j is that it is IP68 rated for dust and water resistance. Other exciting phone features include a 120Hz display and a Snapdragon 6 Series 5G chipset. Moto G52j has a 6.8-inch LCD panel with a full HD Plus resolution of 1080 x 2460 pixels, 20.5.9 aspect ratio, and 120 Hz of refresh rate. The screen punch hole houses a 13-megapixel selfie camera. The device's rear camera module houses a 50-megapixel primary camera with an f1.8 aperture, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens with 118-degree FOV, and a 2-megapixel depth sensor. The device can shoot up to 60 FPS 1080p video and 120 FPS HD slow-motion video. The Snapdragon 695 chipset sits under the hood of the Moto G52j. The phone includes 6GB of RAM with 128GB of ROM. It has a 5000 mAh battery that supports 15W turbo power charging. The device runs on Android 11 OS with MyUX on top. Regarding connectivity, it offers features like Nano SIM eSIM, Wi-Fi 802.11 AC, Bluetooth 5.1, NFC GPS, and a USB-C port. It supports Face Unlock and is equipped with a side fingerprint scanner. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to our channel.